Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of China 101. I know I've been gone for some time because I was here in the United States. We were having Christmas, and then after Christmas there was New Year. So I was in the vacation mode. Didn't really want to go to work. I didn't want to work. So yeah, we were. But however, I'm still here, and in the future we will continue to pump out new China 101 content to YouTube and also, don't forget to click like, subscribe, and if you are one of those nice listeners, please leave a comment down below and let us know what you think about today's episode, and let us know if you have any questions. Now, today's topic is about a really strange and unique system that only China employ to manage its own citizens. And this citizens managed system. No, I'm not talking about all of those cameras to recognize people's faces and track them, but it is a much more ancient and much more prominent citizen control system, and it's called the Hukou system. Now, the Hukou system, to put it in simple words, is kind of like a domestic passport. It basically is a method to restrict citizens' movement from one place to another. And in the following, we will discuss what this Hukou system is about and how it's originated, and what will probably happen to the system in the future. China's Hukou system is a family registration program that serves as a domestic passport, regulating population distribution and rural to urban migration. It is a tool for social and geographic control that enforces an apartheid structure of rights enforcement. The Hukou system denies peasants the same rights and benefits that enjoyed by China's urban residents. First, let's talk about a brief history of the Hukou system. In ancient China, the purpose of Hukou was very different compared to the modern day. Hukou first started in the 21st century BC, which is basically 2,000 years before year zero, utilized by the West Zhou dynasty. It was mainly used as a method to calculate population, potential taxation revenue, and conscription. The function of Hukou remained largely unchanged until 1949, before the Republic China was defeated by the communists. It was never meant to restrict population movement and force people to live at one place permanently. The modern Hukou system was formalized as a permanent program in 1958, meant to ensure social, political, and economical stability. China's largely agrarian economy during the early days of the People's Republic was seen as a problem. In order to speed up China's industrialization, the central government followed the Soviet model and prioritized heavy industry over farming. To finance this abnormal industrialization speed, the CCP underpriced agricultural goods and overpriced industrial goods to induce unequal exchange between the two sectors. Essentially, peasants were paid way less than market value for their agricultural goods. The government imposed a system to restrict free flow of resources, especially labor, between industry and agriculture, or between the city and countryside, to sustain this artificial imbalance. With large farming population, farming labor remained extremely cheap. This system is still in place today. Individuals are categorized by the state as either rural or urban, assigned to geographic areas. Travel between these is permitted only under controlled conditions, and residents are not given access to job, public services, education, healthcare, or food in areas outside of designated area. A rural peasant who chooses to move to city without a government-issued hukou, for example, shares a status similar to an illegal immigrant trying to enter the United States. Obtaining an official rural to urban hukou is extremely difficult because the Chinese government has tight quotas on the number of people that can be converted from rural to urban per year. The effects of the Hukou system. The Hukou system has always benefited urban residents and disadvantaged country developers. Take the Great Famine of the mid-20th century, for example, from 1959 to 1962. For example, during this time, individuals with rural hukous were collectivized into commune farms, and much of their agricultural output was taken in the form of taxes by the state and given to city residents. This led to massive starvation in the countryside, but the Great Leap Forward, or campaign for rapid industrialization, was not abolished until this negative effect of people starving to death were filled by urban population. After the Great Famine, urban citizens enjoyed a range of socio-economical benefits, and rural residents continue to be marginalized. Even today, a Chinese peasant's income is 1/6 of an average urban resident's. In addition, peasants have to pay 3 times more in taxes, but receive lower standards of education, healthcare, and living. The Hukou system impedes upward mobilities, essentially creating a caste system that governs Chinese society today. Since the capitalist reform of the 1970s by Mr. Deng Xiaoping, an estimated 260 million rural dwellers have illegally moved to the cities in an attempt to escape their bleak situations and partake in a remarkable economic development of urban life. These domestic migrants have to embrace discrimination by their urban counterparts and possible arrest just by living on urban fringe in shantytowns, railway stations, and street corners. They are often blamed for urban cities' rising crime and unemployment rates. Finally, reform. As China became more industrialized, the Hukou system has reformed in order to adapt to new economic reality. In 1984, the State Council conditionally opened doors of market towns to peasants. Country residents were allowed to get new type of permit called self-supplied food grain Hukou, provided that they satisfy a number of requirements. The primary requirements are migrant must be employed in an enterprise, have their own accommodation in a new location, and able to provide their own food grain. Cardholders are still eligible for many state services and cannot. Cardholders are still not eligible for many state services and cannot move to urban areas ranked higher than their own. In 1992, the PRC launched another permit called the Blue Stamp Hukou. Unlike the previous Hukou, that is limited to particularly subset of business peasants, the Blue Stamp Hukou is open to a wide range of population and allows migrants into bigger cities. Some of these cities include special economic zones, which are havens for foreign investments. Eligibility is primarily limited to those familiar with relations to domestic and overseas investors. The Hukou system experienced another reform of liberation in 2001 after China successfully joined the World Trade Organization. Although WTO membership exposed China's agriculture sector to foreign competition and led to widespread job loss in the farming industry, it also galvanized labor-intensive sectors such as textile and clothing. This led to an increased demand in urban labor, and intensity of patrols and documentation inspections were relaxed to accommodate. In 2003, changes were also made to how illegal migrants are detained and processed. This was the result of a media and internet frenzy case which college-educated urban resident named Sun Zhigang was taken into custody and beaten to death for working in a megacity of Guangzhou without a proper Hukou ID. Despite many reforms, the Hukou system still remained fundamentally intact and caused continued disparities between the country's urban and rural residents and agriculture and industrial sectors. Although the system is highly controversial and in many cases considered evil, its complete abandonment is not practical due to the complexity and interconnections of modern Chinese society. The Chinese government believes that currently removing the Hukou system will lead to a massive exodus of people into the city that could instantly cripple their urban infrastructures and destroy rural economies. So for now, minor changes will continue to make response to China's shifting political climate. Minor changes will continue to be made for the Hukou system to adapt China's shifting political climate and economic improvements. For more information regarding this, the information inside this article, please refer to China's Hukou system by author Zhou Ping on Thought chinacooperation.com. Thank you very much. And this is all of our presentation today regarding the Chinese Hukou system. If you have any more questions please leave a comment in our video. And we hope you enjoyed today's presentation and see you next time. Bye-bye.